Hi, I'm Daniel, and I saw the new Pixar movie titled Lightyear. It is very connected to Toy Story, and it's about a movie that inspired the toy. They had to put a disclaimer at the start to make sure nobody thinks it's about the toy and is confused. In terms of how it breaks past the canon, I think the Starkman show was inspired by this movie and the toys from the show, but Andy liked the movie more. I hope that made sense. This movie was released in cinemas, I don't really care about that fact. Doesn't matter helping the film's reception, and the reason there's so much hate Pixar Disney Plus releases is because cinemas is how things used to be, although it's changed. I'll try to get to the point of video sooner. The trailers made me excited for how well the slowed down music set up the atmosphere. It looked different to Pixar with a darker tone. So, will Lightyear be good as the first Pixar film related to a franchise in a while? This video won't have spoilers, but we'll go in detail on some aspects. If you want to watch the video and not know much about it, then this probably isn't a good video to watch. Starting with the story, the first 30 minutes is filmed very incredible. They are stranded on a planet and there's lots of atmospheric scenes about the situation. There's time for elements about how hyperspeed goes forward 4 years each time. Knowing that Buzz chose to keep doing this makes it started with a great montage scene. The setup is amazing, but then there's the whole plot with Zerg and the robot. The story quickly becomes repetitive, with how Buzz doesn't trust the others and end up in shenanigans and set pieces. The entire plot, similar to the hero's journey story animated films, where I expected it to be different from the typical structure. I never got the impression of a big threat, despite the surrounding trying to tell us constant yay because it's poorly introduced. There's also quite a lot of fear here. Still not exactly the same as other Pixar films, they're mild different, but it's not strong. The whole yearning to trust message is really on the nose here. Ryan the Ash Dragon has problems, but it works so much better there. Plus, it's just a bit annoyed by them, and it makes sense based on how they handle other shenanigans. I wish this was more charismatic instead of character driven. I don't like action. There's a reveal I won't spoil, but it's literally Lego Movie 2 the second part, but way worse. If you had seen both movies, you'll know what I was talking about. There's potential for this to work, and I like that part of the message. However, what it's going for isn't set up by the rest of the movie well with little foreshadowing. While in the Lego Movie 2, it fits with the theme perfectly and is foreshadowed, that movie is extremely underrated. There's better ways to do this. This movie is somewhat darker, but it's obviously toned down to appeal to general audiences. I don't like criticizing a family film for not being dark, but I'm basically doing that. The idea of Buzz missing a guy from the mission is a complex idea that only glanced upon. The film is emotional, even though we see little of it. The film starts off fast paced, but it works that that's how it feels to Buzz, but the rest is dragged out party. However, if it was an actual 90s live action movie, it would have been a young 2 hours of nothing. Not referring to every 90s movies, just most of them that are considered classic. Dialogue is weak, that's partially to fit the whole style, but also because of the weak comedy. The teaser had no comedy, and I thought that represented the film, but no. There's characters who are just comic relief, and they realizing it as a big part of the movie. Most of it isn't bad, and some moments even funny, but it causes tonal problems. Drama scenes don't need comedy, and work more as silent, like the scenes in Buzz in the bedroom near the start. There's some good, I'm surprised how much I like socks, even when the movie began to get worse. The references aren't distracting and fit in naturally. I don't think it's a problem with comedy instead with atmosphere that goes downhill. This movie also has quite a good score that can make you feel the weight down better than the story and dialogue can. The animation is amazing as it looks so detailed. It almost looks like action with the backgrounds. The character designs aren't too realistic, but fit into the world. It's not too stylized, and Buzz is a familiar but not just a copied model. I've saw criticism that this is just the way it is showing off and isn't stylistic. While I like turning red animation and being Mel's work, I think there should be a mixture. This is still impressed with the cinematography, with almost every shot looking great. I'm not going to rank this compared to other animation, because at this point, every new Disney film looks exceptional. As for the characters, Buzz Lightyear's arc had potential, but it was missed here. I won't go into the full reasons why for spoiler reasons, it's just a fair comparison. As I mentioned before, Socks is great with funny lines, and he actually has personality. This movie skips the development of Buzz being annoyed to liking him, but I don't mind this, and I think Disney has said toy advertising with this character. It's weird how the part I was expecting to hate ended up being good. Older Hawthorne, who appears little, is still an important character with how she's handled. parts from her are the best in the movie. Her granddaughter Izzy is generic at being in training. The duel between her and Lightyear is very bland. There's the other two in the team who serve comedic interactions which aren't bad, but they have no importance. They could easily be cut out. It's used as only a group of 4 instead of the usual 6 the normally is. Zerg's role is disappointing. I can imagine it being given more to people who are more familiar with this character. The direction they took him in could have worked better, but it's poorly written. This is a good movie, but it could be changed to be amazing. Instead, this is just a weaker Pixar movie. Conclusion, I give Lightyear 7.5 out of 10, and a Depends recommendation. I almost considered 8, but it gets worse the more I thought about it. I don't recommend to watch it unless you're already planning to while it's in cinemas, whereas on Disney Plus this will be a would recommend. On my Pixar ranking it will be around 18, and I haven't really decided whether this or Turning Red is better. Turning Red's better story and writing, this definitely has higher highs. Both Pixar films this year were good but not great. I didn't expect them to be similar in quality. I thought Lightyear would be way better. Trailer editors are just too good. I wish the Oscars would be bold enough to nominate the bad guys, because yes, Strange World is amazing. It'll be the best animated movie this year, yeah. I barely thought about Toy Story, so it succeeds in being its own movie, but I have a feeling Buzz might have been thrown onto an original space story. Lightyear is almost special, but it became sensitive ideas. It's only just out, but I can guess it won't be that yiked. I know I've been wrong before, but most agree this range is 5 to 8. Disney animation peaked in 2020 and 2021, and while these movies are still good, I don't know if it'll be a best Pixar era as I thought. Also, there was a documentary released before the movie, and it was average. It seems more about Toy Story than the Lightyear. The end.